Well, Adam, I'd say welcome, but you've been here for what, about a week now, and you've
Yeah,
decided that Notts is where you want to be long term.
yeah. No, it's when I come in. Obviously, I spoke to Greg. I knew Greg from Bradford days. Um, I rang him with a hope that he would just let me come in and find my love for football again. To be honest, find that drive and that passion that kept me going for the 7 months of being out of football. He let me come in, and from there, I just wanted to show him that I still had that drive and I still had the passion. I still wanted to come to a club that's trying to push for something rather than something that's, in shambles or in an area where they don't have direction. It's not a nice clubs to be at when you're in that sort of situation. I want to come where they know where they want to go, they know where they want to head towards, and only want to head in one direction. That's success. So it was a no-brainer for me to come and want to try and sign here.
So even before you came here, you already had it in the back of your mind that Notts was the club you wanted to play for. You weren't coming here just to get fit.
No, not all. Looked at the club, looked at how I played in the past, and when I played well, it's been near my family, it's been near my friends, if I'm being honest. It's not far from home. I'll have my family, my friends around me. I looked at the club as a whole, how it's done. It's run better than some of League One clubs that I've been at. It was a no-brainer, no-brainer.
Touched on it there about how well the club's run, but just sum up your experience over the last week or so.
Yeah, extremely professional, extremely training's organised, the prehab's organised. It's actually a breath of fresh air to have than to, I pride myself on my professionalism, way I go about stuff, and to have that align with a club that's doing it right. It's actually, as I say, a breath of fresh air because it's already there, done for you, rather than thinking why isn't this done, or and you're thinking why isn't that done, and why haven't we got prehab, or why haven't we got this and that. And instead of you moaning about stuff at maybe other clubs that haven't set the standards are set here, so it's up to the players to meet those standards. Otherwise, obviously, you fall behind.
You mentioned Greg Abbott there, but there's a couple of other people I'm sure you know, Jim O'Brien and
Yeah.
Jake Reeves being two. How good is it to be around characters like that again?
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm already getting stick off Reevesy and Jim, so they're making me feel at home. Yeah, I get on both really well with them. I've already had food with Reevesy, etc. I felt like I'm at home with him again. I'm sure a lot of people around this place will get sick of us within a couple of weeks, but it's nice to have faces to obviously always come to. It makes you settle and hit the ground, a bit quicker. Not feeling a bit more out of place, taking your time to sort of settle in. It's nice to see friendly faces, and hopefully it will help me bond with the team quicker.
Give us the inside scoop on Jake Reeves then, because we saw him for the first time in action on Saturday, as same with you, and two superb assists and a very controlled performance in that midfield role.
Reevesy's had it in his game the whole time. I know he's had a bad injuries, etc. beforehand, but that shouldn't outlie what he can do on the pitch. I think if you look at him as a whole and you actually come and watch him and take away what he previously had, you'll see the qualities there in abundance. He should be playing higher. He wants to play higher. And eventually, hopefully we can do it. We both want to play higher. I'm sure everyone at this club now wants to play higher. So you've got people now wanting to drive this club forward and progress. So, he's got the quality, but so has a lot of lads in this team. When I've come in, I was happily surprised on how good a lot of the lads are on the ball. And, it's a really good feeling to have, because I've then got to now pride myself on keeping the ball and align myself with how these other lads play.
You mentioned there yourself and others obviously wanting to play higher. For you, this is your first foray outside of the Football League, barring a loan spell at Leyton Orient. You'd played all of your football previously in League One or the Championship. So, how does it feel to be a National League player in that sense?
As you get older, you take all that away. You take all those divisions, this, that. It doesn't matter for me where I play now. It's about where my standards of where I set them. They amount to where I want to be, and then hopefully that drags me back up to those divisions. And if it doesn't, I know I've kept my standards up there, and if I keep my standards up there, hopefully you will progress back to where it was. So I won't drop them, and I'll hope for the best this season.
I, like many of the supporters, since we knew that you'd come in on trial, have been doing lots of research, reading articles on you. A lot of Bolton fans were really surprised to see you go, and then obviously it was tough from leaving there in January to get another club in the EFL from that point because all the squads are settled. Just in your own words, just talk us through the last 6 months and the sort of the mental sort of experience of that.
Well, it's very draining because you work so hard to get into an opportunity like Bolton, obviously because I was out of contract and I signed there, so you get your head down, you work really hard to try and earn a contract, and I felt I did that. And to be let down in a way, the reasons were fair. They just, they said they wanted to go into a different direction, but when you felt like you've given everything for a club and you get nothing back, it's very hard to take. So 7 months has been hard. I wouldn't shy away from that. It's probably been one of the toughest times in my career because you feel like you're going away from football more. You start thinking about, well, should I actually start looking out of football, to be honest? I'm not going to sort of hide away from that. You start questioning, are you still able? Are you still... All those things come into your head, but then you revert back to what you do right. So I'd wake up every morning at 6 o'clock, I'd go for a run, I'd go gym, second session in the day. I'd keep doing all the stuff that keep me mentally prepared for an opportunity you've got to play within a day, or we'll look at you one day. You've got to keep mentally there, otherwise there'll be a lot of lads out in that same situation this time coming up, especially with what's happened. But it has been tough, but on the other hand, it's made me even more driven than I was when I was 18 because it was so tough. So, it was make or break for me.
You mentioned there about making sure that you're primed and ready to take opportunities. I think anybody who saw the action from the Ilkeston game saw that you obviously breezed through that one. You obviously had to fill in at centre half, which wasn't ideal, but nevertheless it looked comfortable for you. How do you feel fitness wise and match readiness wise?
Well, that was my third session in 7 months, I think. So for me, it was pleasing because the sharpness was there in bits and bobs, but then I've got 30-40% more to try and catch up to. But saying that, it did feel like all the work I've put in those 7 months put me in a better position to then catch up quickly. So I will be putting in the double sessions, I will be putting in all the extra sessions to try and catch up with the lads the week that I've missed out on, to try and catch up quickly. But overall, I actually did feel really good.
And what sort of a fullback would you say you are?
It's energy. I've always had energy throughout my career, fitness, quality on the ball. I want to get on the ball. But I'll be up and down. I'll be running all game. That's where it's been my whole career. I'm not going to shy away from that. I'm not going to do anything different that I've done before. I'll be up, down, all game, running until my legs come off. So, and if I don't do that, then I'll be letting myself down.
Damien McCrory is another left back at the club with huge pedigree of playing at a much higher level than we find ourselves at the minute. What a fantastic competition for that left back slot, and also an opportunity for the gaffer to rotate between these horrible Saturday-Tuesday schedule that we see up until Christmas. Yeah,
I mean, in the Championship and etc. like that, you always have 2-3 positions, and competition I find thrilling because it keeps you on your toes. If you're not ready for a challenge, then you get into your comfort zone and you get into a position where you're just coasting. So if I'm not pushing him, then he'll be pushing me, etc. So it's who's going to fight more for that position, who's going to earn the right to wear the shirt. And if it's him, then I'll support him and I'll be ready to push him every day in training to take that back off him.
Should be getting some more minutes in the tank at the weekend at Alfred. Are you buzzing for your first match as a fully fledged Notts player?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy, obviously, as I said, to sign and now just focus purely on the footballing side. It's going to be a nice relief, but also it'll be good to now just focus fully on playing and enjoying my football and getting back out there.
And then obviously next week we've got an FA Trophy semi-final. It's a strange old situation.
Yeah.
Obviously playing last year's competition and Harrogate having a game the day before, but it's an opportunity to get to Wembley. Potentially supporters are going to be in attendance. It's a great sort of baptism of fire to Meadow Lane life for you.
Well, that's it, and that's how quickly football could turn around. I could be out of football for 7 months, and then we can go and beat them, and I could be in Wembley in a couple of weeks or whenever the game is. So, that turnaround is why you love and you also hate football. So it's the give and the take, and obviously if we go and beat them, it'll be so good to have something like that to look forward to.
Well, Adam, I think I speak for all Notts fans in saying delighted you've chosen us, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you can do.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.